If we turn our backs and spit in his face, is God still gonna bless the USA?
Farmer plants his fields in the spring, then day after day he walks the rows, waters the soil, pulls the weeds, but for weeks nothing breaks the surface. To an outsider, it looks like wasted effort, but beneath the soil, something is happening. Roots are forming before the fruit appears, and if that farmer quits too soon, he doesn't just lose a crop, he forfeits a whole harvest that was already in motion. Greetings, Patriots. I'm Perry Green, and this is God in America, where freedom gives us opportunity, but faith gives us endurance. And endurance is what carries us when obedience doesn't seem to pay off. There's an old saying, no good deed goes unpunished. Have you ever done the right thing and it seemed to cost you? You obey God, you try to live righteously, and instead of a blessing, you get resistance. Instead of a reward, you get silence. It makes you wonder, where's the payoff? The Bible is honest about this tension. Proverbs 13, verse 21 reads, pursues sinners, but the righteous are rewarded with good. In Galatians 6, verse 9, Paul deepens our understanding. Let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. Notice the phrase, due season. It's not the season that's immediate or convenient. God's timeline is rarely our timeline. The righteous are often compared to a tree. In Psalm 1, the writer describes them as planted, rooted, steady, bearing fruit in their season. That means there are seasons when you don't see fruit, but growth is still happening. Our ancestors understood this kind of delayed reward. Author Thomas Paine wrote, "What we obtain too cheap, we esteem too lightly. It is dearness only that gives everything its value." And he said, the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. John Adams declared patience and perseverance have a magical effect before which difficulties disappear and obstacles vanish. Here's the truth. Righteousness doesn't always make life easier. It makes life deeper. Jesus said, "What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and forfeit his soul?" You can, quote unquote, succeed outwardly and lose everything inwardly. Or you can obey God, struggle outwardly, and gain something eternal. Sometimes the reward is internal before it is external. Peace instead of anxiety, conviction instead of confusion, strength instead of compromise. Sometimes the reward is resistance. In 2 Timothy 3, verse 12, Paul wrote, "All who desire to live godly in Christ Jesus shall suffer persecution." That doesn't mean you're failing. It often means you're aligned with God, and sometimes the reward is in the future instead of the now. Jesus said, "Lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven." We want immediate results, but God is building eternal outcomes. We live in a culture that measures everything by visibility, likes, followers, income, and influence. Churches measure success with nickels and noses of attendance, numbers, and bank accounts. Businesses measure the bottom line of a profit margin. If it's not seen, it's not valued. God measures differently. He sees faithfulness when no one else does. Parents raising children in truth, workers choosing integrity over shortcuts, believers standing firm when it costs them something. That may not trend, but it matters with God. We can handle our perceived dilemmas. First, we keep planting. Don't quit because you don't see the fruit. Second, we understand our expectations. God's rewards are often deeper than we think. Third, trust the process. Roots grow before fruit shows in due season. We're not just living for results, we're living for a harvest we may not yet fully see. And that doesn't make obedience pointless, it makes it powerful. Well, thanks for tuning in to God in America today. Be sure to tell your friends about our podcast. As we close, remember success may be immediate, but significance is eternal. Stay faithful. Don't give up. The due season is coming. Until next time, let's keep the light of our coming harvest burning.